Hey guys, this is Naveen here. Welcome back to Naveen Automation Labs. A quick update on the new batch announcement. We are going to start a new bootcamp on Selenium with Java with end-to-end framework, plus a lot of DevOps activities and the infrastructure setup with the DevOps along with your framework. So the bootcamp we are going to start from 21st February. So for US folks, it will be 20th February. If you really want to enroll, you can simple enroll for it. The timings will be 6:30 a.m. IST and 8 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. PST. So you can check the exact timings from here. Now for India, I know it's a little early, like 6:30 a.m., but by 8 or 8:30, we will be finishing this session so that after 8:30, everyone is having the office. So you can just continue with your office because a lot of people are asking that please don't start the training after 8 or 8 o'clock, 8 or 8:30, because a lot of people are having the office and everything. So 6:30 to 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. EST if you are in the US, 5 p.m. PST and 7 p.m. CST. These are the timings you can join accordingly. Then you just need to fill this particular form, and then the payment options are available here. You can go through it, but I'll show you what exactly we are going to cover here in this particular bootcamp, in this entire training. From last 5 years, we have been upgrading this training content and the course content, the syllabus according to the current latest market trend, what is going on with respect to Selenium, with respect to Java, how to design the framework, what are the new things that you have to learn according to the current market standard and everything. So in this course content, again, we are going to concentrate on the Selenium WebDriver 4.x. Couple of people were asking that, will you really teach Selenium 3 or 4? Obviously, we have to learn Selenium WebDriver 4. Selenium 3 is already like 3 years old now. And now everyone has to learn Selenium WebDriver. In fact, I have seen some courses, people are still teaching Selenium RC. This is absolutely wrong. Selenium RC is already deprecated from the market and there is no support from Selenium as well. So you have to learn Selenium WebDriver latest version series, that is 4.x series, that you have to learn with Java. Okay. And then the course content is very simple. We'll start with the Java, then Selenium, and then framework, and then all the DevOps activities we are going to perform in this particular bootcamp. Without Java, we never proceed further. It's not like along with Java, we are covering Selenium also side by side. No, we don't believe in this particular philosophy and the concept, and we never directly jump into Selenium. There will be around 25 to 30 sessions only for Java. So I'll make sure that if you're coming from manual testing background or no testing background or a fresher or no coding background, don't worry about it. Either you are a fresher or experienced person. This Java training or this Java programming concepts will help you a lot to design the framework, plus cracking the interviews, also how to write the better code, how to do a proper error handling, exception handling, how to optimize the code, how to develop a specific logic. It's not at all theoretical. All my concepts are purely based on real-time examples, real-time use cases, when to use overloading, when to use method overriding, how to create generic functions, how to write a complex to complex function, how to divide a function into multiple parts so that the code will be very much readable and optimized and it will be easy for debugging. We will perform a lot of debugging activities also while learning Java. So these are the very important fundamentals that you have to develop when you really want to start with Selenium. This is where people are struggling, that the moment the interviewer or the moment they try to implement the logic in the real-time project also, Selenium little bit like driver.find element, some XPath or CSS knowledge, but that is not going to help you a lot. In real-time projects, you have to develop a logic, you have to create the utilities, you have to write some wrappers, and you have to create some generic functions and everything. So without this knowledge of Java, you cannot do that. When you design the framework, you have to learn about the design patterns with the help of different object-oriented programming concepts, like when to use inheritance, when to use polymorphism, overloading, overriding, encapsulation, data hiding. What do you mean by memory management, static variable, non-static variable? There are like many things. When to use an interface, when to use abstract classes, the use cases of super keyword and this keyword in your framework. There are different types of exception handling also, that how to do that and how to design and how to implement the same thing in the form of framework as well, because framework is a complete development activity, and without the knowledge of programming, without the knowledge of Java, you cannot develop the Selenium framework. In fact, this Java knowledge will help you tomorrow. You want to learn API or any XYZ tool that you want to learn with respect to Java or any object-oriented programming concepts, it will help you a lot. Okay, so once Java is completed, then we will move to the Selenium part. Editor point of view, we use both IntelliJ and Eclipse both, in which you are comfortable, you can use it. The code base and everything, concept, everything will remain same. It's just like an editor. It's totally up to your choice. You can use it. So for Java point of view, we use Eclipse, and for Selenium point of view, framework point of view, when we design, that time we use IntelliJ. So you will get the exposure of both the editors. Then we are going to talk about Selenium WebDriver. See, try to understand the Selenium philosophy. Selenium is just a raw library. Whatever you're writing in Selenium, it's everything is available in the form of different methods, and raw methods are available. On top of that, you have to develop a logic according to your use case, according to your test case, according to your scenario. Right. So in that case, it's not like that everything is ready-madely available in Selenium. It's not like that. If you really want to implement your own a custom weight, also you have to write a logic for that. If you really want to implement, let's see, a dot click method with the proper exception handling and everything with the proper weight, you have to create a generic function for that. So this is what majority of the people, they do a mistake. They directly want to learn the framework part without the knowledge of Selenium, that how exactly Selenium works, the Selenium architecture, Selenium. What do you mean by W3C WebDriver, a protocol? What do you mean? What is the difference between JSON via protocol? What happened to the binary management from Selenium 2 to 3 to 4? What do you mean by Selenium Manager? That's a very new feature available in Selenium. What do you mean by CFT, the Chrome for testing browser that recently Google and Chromium team that they have released? And Selenium team, they are developing a WebDriver BiDi protocol also, the bidirectional protocol. What do you mean by this? How to implement that? What do you mean by W3C and everything? We have to learn with Selenium WebDriver. This is what people, they really want to know from you at a time of interview, and it will help you a lot to design the things, implement the concept, and solve the complex to complex use cases also with Selenium. That's why in the training, it's very in-depth from the beginning itself. We never copy paste the code. We hardly only 1% chances are there with maybe some template file or XML file, then only we copy paste the code. Otherwise, 99.99% cases during the session only I always design the code in front of you guys, and then we write the code over there, and then we implement the things, and line by line we explain the things. So once you know Java, Selenium will be super easy for you. You just need to understand when to use what. So in Selenium, there are many things, WebDriver basic concepts. What do you mean by browser, navigation methods? What do you mean by web elements? Most important chapter with respect to web element, that how to identify a specific web element on the basis of different locators. People are still struggling with the XPath and proper CSS, that when to use XPath, when to use CSS. There are so many changes. I mean, so many things are, so many differences are there, and then so many use cases are there. You can solve some complex to complex problem with XPath and the CSS. You don't need to write very complex logic for that if your XPath and the CSS is very powerful. So what do you mean by custom XPath, relative XPath? How to design the sibling XPath or XPath access, preceding sibling, preceding sibling, following sibling, parent, child, ancestor tag, and everything we are going to implement with XPath and CSS well. Okay, so we take around 3 to 4 sessions only for XPath and CSS. It's not like only basics will be covered. No, complex to complex on different browsers. What do you mean by modern XPath and old XPath? Which XPath library is supported with Selenium? We are going in depth at the DOM level, and then we check how to use these custom XPath in our Selenium framework or in the Selenium use cases. Then element identification strategies. We will see that various XPath helper plugin, for example, selector, sub, and everything. But before that, we have to focus on the Selenium XPath training and locator strategies, DOM strategies. What do you mean by DOM, and what do you mean by BOM? What do you mean by the page locators on the different browsers? And there are various different complex elements are available on the page in the form of, for example, web table. For example, let's see, there is a pseudo element. You must have seen something like hash, a colon, before and after. These are called pseudo elements. Sometimes we will see shadow elements. Sometimes we will see iframe based elements, and complex nested iframes are available. So we have to check those elements inside those complex web elements also, and the web components also. Then there are a lot of use cases with respect to web table, checkboxes, radio buttons. We have to check that how to handle the drop downs, dynamic drop downs, and then static drop downs, or select based drop down, or let's see, Ajax based or relative XPath, or sorry, Angular based or React based drop downs are there, which is like sometimes very complex to handle it. and those are very dynamic in nature with respect to Ajax component and everything. So how to handle it? We are going to cover those complex to complex elements with respect to table, checkboxes, radio buttons, paginations, and all those things. We are going to cover that. And in the entire training, remember, guys, we always take some really amazing examples that we used in the real-time projects. It's not like one dummy basic HTML page somebody has created, only two radio buttons and one button and login feature is available and click on login button. No, we don't do something like this. We always go through the scenario to by scenario. We always check that, okay, if there is a carousel on a typical e-commerce application, if there is a web table with the pagination, if there is infinite scrolling, how to handle these complex use cases. So we are going to cover on some real-time applications, some really good, amazing examples we always cover in the Selenium training. Then very important chapter, Selenium Wait, alert, switch, windows, and everything. Selenium Wait is the most amazing thing that they have developed in Selenium library with respect to implicitly wait and explicitly wait. And explicitly wait again divided into two parts like WebDriver wait and the fluent wait. A lot of people, 99% of the people, they are not sure how to use and when to use the WebDriver wait and the fluent wait. What is the actual definition of the fluent wait? Why fluent wait is so generic that it can be used for different use cases like file upload, file download. You are waiting for the specific email, you can do that. You are waiting for, let's say, some database data, you can use it and you can apply the dynamic wait over there. So how to use it? A lot of misconceptions are there in the market, on the different blogs, on channels. People are actually giving the wrong answers and the wrong explanation about that. But we are going to talk about some real-time use cases of the fluent wait, WebDriver wait, implicitly wait, when to use what, can we mix them together, what are the consequences if we mix all the weights together, how to avoid thread.sleep as much as possible, how to handle different types of alerts, model alerts pop-ups, prompt, confirmation pop-up, JavaScript pop-up, window-based pop-up, new window, cross origin policy, everything we are going to talk about with respect to switching the windows. Then there are a lot of new things happened with respect to actions class according to the W3C in Selenium 4. So different use cases like actions classes will be used for the keyboard actions and the mouse actions. Mouse over, mouse movement, drag and drop, right click, context click, click with the send keys and the actions class. Now with the actions class, you can do scrolling also. You can move to the specific element also. We can do all those things with respect to actions class. Then we have different kind of other use cases like browser profiling with respect to Chrome options, Edge options, and the Firefox options. How to create your own profile with respect to, let's see, headless mode, incognito, and there are various Chrome options and the Firefox options are available. With that, you can do some amazing things. Let's see, sometimes you must have seen some notification pop-up is coming. We can disable that. Some auto auth also we can do with respect to Chrome options. Some, let's see, some really want to define that whenever I click on the download file, it should download only in the C drive or D drive or a specific folder. So we can define those options with respect to, with the help of Chrome options and the Firefox options. So these are some really good features are available in Selenium. We will cover that part as well. And then some complex UI scenario that I recently added, like handle complex Ajax component, which are very dynamic in nature. You should know what we mean by asynchronous JavaScript component and how to handle them with the proper implicitly wait or explicitly wait or the fluent wait. How to handle complex to complex calendars, web table with the paginations. This is like a very common scenario for a project point of view and interview point of view. Handle infinite page scrolling, like for example, you are scrolling on the LinkedIn, Facebook, or Swiggy or Zomato food delivery app or something like this. So you just keep scrolling down up to the infinite time. And the moment you see my post on LinkedIn, you have to break the loop and you have to stop scrolling in that case. So how to handle these scenarios? And then complex shadow DOM, nested shadow DOM, open and closed shadow DOM, SVG elements, frames, iframe, pseudo elements. We are going to cover these three important chapters also. And these days, a lot of modern applications, they are using a lot of iframes and the shadow DOMs and the SVG elements. How to handle, how to design the spatial XPath for SVG or CSS selector for the shadow DOM. How to create write the proper JavaScript executors for the pseudo elements. That is what also we are going to cover that. A lot of wait use cases, wait for the element, wait for that element is really visible or element is visible on the page or element is present inside the DOM. And there are so many expected conditions are available. On the basis of that, we can apply a weight and we can create a lot of utilities around that. How to wait for the specific element and a specific page loading and everything. Those some really complex use cases we are going to cover over here. And then other than that, we have added some more complex scenarios. For example, let's say you really want to automate a graph, some signature that you really want to do with respect to on the canvas, how to do that. That also we have added over here. Okay. And then once all these use cases, I'm not going each and every point here. You can just go through the content here, like almost everything we have added with respect to Selenium. And then we are going to talk about the advanced Selenium framework. That is, the advanced Selenium part. That is the first we start with the TestNG framework. TestNG is amazing. A lot of features are available with respect to TestNG, how to design the test cases, because Selenium is not a testing tool. This is just an automation tool which will automate your browser, which will automate your user actions on the browser. But end of the day, we are testers. We have to write the test cases. For that, we have to use TestNG framework. And in TestNG, there are so many features and so many hidden features are also available. We are going to explore everything like priority, download, annotations, how to create the grouping, dependency, and then what are the anti-patterns of writing the test cases. Triple A pattern, we are going to talk about it. What do you mean by parameterization, XML file, TestNG parameterization with respect to XML, test runners. You must have heard about testng.xml. How to write the test cases, how to run the test cases with the parallel testing. Selenium, we don't have any method to run the test cases in with respect to parallel testing. So TestNG will provide a threading concept or multiple threading concept with respect to parallel testing. And then we will integrate with Selenium so that we can run our test cases in the parallel mode. And there are a lot of interview questions for each and every section. You must have seen here that interview questions for every chapter, we have an interview question. We will be doing it there as well. Once TestNG is done, then we will design one end-to-end project, one end-to-end framework. A couple of people were asking that, okay, will you cover a project? See, in automation, application could be anything. That really doesn't matter. Whatever the existing application that you're using it should be a web application. Selenium can automate that. We need to learn the automation framework part, automation designing part. The framework designing part. We have to learn how to design the different components, different design patterns like page object model or factory pattern or singleton pattern, how to use different locator strategies with respect to page object model. These are the important things that we have to learn. So definitely we are going to talk about one real-time application that we are going to use, that is e-commerce application, which will give you one real-time exposure. In fact, you can use the same application in your profile also if you really want to showcase that. And then one real-time web application will be taken and the framework will be built on top of that, which will simulate the actual scenarios, the way we work in the real-time project. So that people were asking, right, if I'm coming from the manual testing background, then how will I clear the interview after the training? So you have to justify with your knowledge. I'm not saying that you have to bluff something, but you have to show that, okay, yes, this is what I have done. This is what I have developed. That's why I have mentioned in my resume. Now you ask the question and let them ask the question, and then you have to give the right, proper, experienced based answer, whatever that you have learned. So we will teach you in such a way that you can easily justify your experience at a time of, or your knowledge at a time of interview. So this is very important for the people who are having, let's say, 7-8 years of experience totally into manual testing, but they have never got the exposure on the automation. This automation training, this entire training will help you a lot, will give you a lot of exposure, the way we work in the real-time projects in real-time automation framework. Then in the framework part, a lot of good things that we have added. You can just go through it with the course content, but I'll just highlight a couple of important things here, that how to design the different components, different utilities, like element-based utility, browser-based utilities, driver managers, driver factory utilities, how to write the test cases, what are design patterns, what do you mean by page object model, how to create the runners, proper error handling, proper exception handling, how to write the assertion utilities, how to implement the reportings with respect to extend report, LER report, TestNG report, PDF report. There are various types of modern reportings are available. Whenever there is a test failure, I want to attach the screenshot also in my reports. So these are the important things that we are going to cover along with Selenium, TestNG, and there are various other third-party libraries which are very popular in the market. We are going to implement and then use it over there. So what happens? Most of the people, they stop learning after this thing. See, I'll show you one diagram here. I hope you can just simple see here. So most of the people, they stop learning after this particular design, and they don't concentrate on the DevOps part or the infrastructure part. See this particular diagram. So this is like from the previous batch only that we recently completed. Once the design part or the framework, the coding part is completed, then we have to start implementing the DevOps and the infrastructure. Like infrastructure, you will be doing with a lot of DevOps activities. Like I don't want to, keep this code in my local machine or in my Eclipse only. I really want to push my code because there are other 4 developers also there, so that I can push my code to the Git repo. Then what do you mean by branching concept? What do you mean by merge conflict and everything? So we spend around 3 to 4 days only on Git branching, local branching, different use cases for the Git. What do you mean by rebase? What do you mean by fetch, cherry pick? Some really complex workflows that we are going to talk about the way we work in real-time projects. Because in real-time project, you are not the only guy. There are other 3, 4 developers also or automation engineers also working with you. If your manager says that, okay, hey, can you please check my PR, or can you please complete your work and raise a PR so that I can check your code? And then you're totally blank over there. You don't understand only the framework or maybe basic Selenium part, but you don't know that how to merge the code, how to merge the 2 branches, how to raise a conflict, or how to resolve a conflict, not raise a conflict, how to resolve a specific merge conflict, because you're merging 2 things, conflicts will be there. So how to solve it, the way we work in real-time projects, the real-time communication that we do with other automation engineers, we will see different use cases over here. Then other activities like CI/CD pipeline with Jenkins, we are going to talk, which is very popular in the market. In fact, we have recently added GitHub Actions also. With that, you can complete one CI/CD pipeline, Blue Ocean pipeline, classic view, declarative pipeline syntax. What do you mean by Jenkins file? How to write the specific syntax for that? How to configure it? How to create number of jobs? And then there are a lot of features with respect to Jenkins that we are going to talk about it here. I have already listed here. Jenkins pipeline, classic Blue Ocean pipeline, and declarative pipeline syntax. Run the script via Jenkins, and then you can create a script via Jenkins, and then you can run your test cases with the Jenkins with respect to CI/CD pipeline. So there is one special syntax that we have to learn that is called declarative pipeline syntax that we are going to talk about it. Then how to generate the report using extend report, LAO report, test engine report, how to auto trigger. I just need to push my code and automatically Jenkins will start running my test cases, that with the help of a lot of other proxy servers that we have to implement, like ngrok proxy to trigger the build automatically. How will you schedule it? Polling mechanism. For example, let's see, every day, 9 o'clock in the night, I want to run my test cases. Or whenever the moment developer is pushing the code, I want to execute my test cases. So there is no manual intervention. You can configure these things with Jenkins. And then complete Git that I've already mentioned here. In fact, I'll give you the complete Git course also with this particular course. And then we have some amazing things like Maven Lifecycle, very, very famous for interview point of view, important for your product-based companies where you are designing some common automation frameworks. You have to create a common automation framework concept. You have to create the fat jars, you have to create libraries, you have to deploy the fat jar with the help of Maven deployment plugin. So we how to design, compile, run, packaging in the form of jar or fat jar, install, and then finally you have to deploy on the Nexus server. I don't know, you guys have heard about Nexus and everything. We are going to talk about Maven Nexus deployment, generation of the fat jar with the assembly plugin, creating a normal jar with the help of jar plugin, and the complete Maven lifecycle of the project, the framework that we have developed. These are very amazing things, interesting things, which will make your resume very, very heavy, very interesting resume. A lot of good things you can add after this particular course. Then we have added the Docker. Docker is also very interesting. Some use cases are there. We can, first of all, that Selenium grid is entirely based these days on Docker containers. You can just simply create the Selenium grid nodes and hubs, multiple nodes and multiple hubs also you can create. So we are going to talk about Selenium 4 grid with the Docker. Docker means you really want to create Selenium hub. Hub means on some remote machine where I want to run my test cases. So you can do it with the Selenium grid and the Docker machine. And then parallel execution, Docker will help me a lot. I don't need to go with multiple infrastructure or multiple machines here. With one single Selenium grid, with the help of Docker technology, I can create multiple instances of the browser. Let's see, for example, I really want to run my test cases on Firefox 90, 95, 96, 101. on the same machine. I can do it with the help of Docker and Selenium Grid. In fact, there are custom Selenium grids also available in the market. For example, Selenoid. This is also some amazing thing that you are going to learn, which is very popular in the market these days, that how to create your own browser lab. That also we are going to create here, like set up your own browser lab with the different browser versions. You don't need to go to any vendor like Browser Stack or Lambda Test. You don't need to pay anything for that. You can create your own browser lab with different varieties of browsers, with different versions of the browser you can mention over there. And then we are going to talk about the Amazon services, Amazon AWS cloud also. There are multiple services that we are going to use. The one of the services is that EC2 service, the compute service with EC2. We are going to take one Linux machine, how to create AMI, security group, VPC, subnets, how to set up the Selenium grid on EC2, and then how to run your Selenium test cases on the AWS machine with Selenoid and with the custom Selenium grid. We have to do it. Very, very interesting, very popular. It has to be there in your resume, in your profile, and you should know about it. Only basic framework will not work here. Once the framework is developed, I have to move my test cases to the Git. And then after that, I have to run my test cases with the help of Jenkins. And then again, a lot of people, they do the mistake. They start running the test cases in the Jenkins machine. No, we have to set up a separate environment for that. This environment could be a VM also. It could be a separate server or machine, or it could be a cloud also. So this is a cloud. We are going to talk about the AWS cloud. We'll take a machine over there, set up the entire Selenium browser lab with the help of Selenoid and Selenium grid, and then see. This is my Eclipse where I have written my entire design code and everything. Push the code here with the help of Jenkins. It will automatically take the code here, or we can auto trigger with the help of ngrok proxy, and it will start running my test cases on the Selenium grid. Or if Selenium grid is available on the AWS cloud, then we can easily run our test cases on the cloud machine as well. Right? And there is another concept that I told you. This is my Nexus server, a big N Nexus server, which is available here. And then we can create the jar of this particular entire project, and then we can deploy this over here. And there are other teams also in your company. Let's see, order management, user management, and category management team. If they want to utilize or leverage your framework or use your framework, they can easily do it over here. So you don't need to design the framework again and again. This is called the concept of common automation framework, or you must have heard about the testing COE, the center of excellence, right? How exactly these people, they work, they do only research and development on the framework, on the new tech stuff. How exactly we can create these level of design frameworks. In a lot of good product companies, this is exactly same thing people, they do it. They don't rely on multiple tools. They create a common framework. Just like developers, they do, Android developer or iOS developer or backend developer, they design the common utilities, and everyone will start using the same utilities. Same thing for us also. We will create our framework utilities, complete framework, deploy, and then it will start used by everyone in the company. Okay, so this is like very high level thing. I'm just giving you the idea that this is what exactly we are going to talk about, and then a lot of interview questions and everything. So I don't cover the training only for interview point of view, because real thing will start when you, after the interview, when you join a good project. And if you really want to get a really good smart package in the industry, you really need to talk about it. You have to showcase that, okay, yeah, you are the right candidate and you are actually different from others. So it will happen when you start giving the answers accordingly, solving the problems accordingly, and then you are justifying your experience on the basis of some real-time knowledge, on the basis of some actual use cases that you actually solved, instead of some bookish knowledge or definition-based knowledge or chat GPT-based knowledge. We never use chat GPT and all those things in the training. A very core concept that we learn, and we try to implement the things. Along with that, every day, Monday to Thursday, session will be there. For US folks, it will be Sunday evening to Wednesday evening, 4 days in a week, more than enough for you. If you have any doubt in the session, after the session, we will be covering. So 6:30 to 7:45, we will be having the session, and then 30 to 40 minutes, we will be having the doubt sessions every day. Sometime we will have the doubt sessions on weekends also. You can send the email also with your screenshot and everything. We will try to reply you back with your queries and everything, with the solutions and everything as soon as possible. Still, you're not able to do it, you can share your screen as well. Okay. And all the recorded videos, everyday recording sessions will be given to you. Whatever the session that we are covering, it will be given to you with the lifetime access. So on the first day, I'll tell you that where exactly the recordings and everything will be available. You just need to sign up. And then after that, you are absolutely good to go with that. So if you are really interested, the only very simple process, just fill this particular form here and do the registration and send me the payment screenshot. I will add you on for the 21st February batch. Timings, as I already mentioned, 6:30. These are timings, 6:30. So don't worry, guys. This is just matter of 15 to 16 weeks, of course, Monday to Thursday. If you're not able to attend any specific session or something, you will be getting the recording on the same day. Within 3 to 4 hours, you will be getting it. So you can watch it anytime, whenever you get time. It will be there with the lifetime access. In fact, in any new concepts, let's see, that we have added after 6 months or 1 year, some new things we have added or some new use case that we have added, we will provide the videos also for that. So course will always be up to date for you. You don't need to pay it again and again for the same thing. Okay. So I hope you like it. If you liked it, then please register for it. Registration will be closed very soon. So the URL and everything, I'll just need to give you in the description box and in the first comment of the video also. Just need to go to naveenautomationlabs.com, go to live training, and this is the first link. That's it. Very straightforward. So I hope you will be learning some amazing things in this bootcamp also. We had like amazing success story from the previous batches from last 3-4 years. A lot of people, they got the job. You must have seen on social media and everywhere. So this is what we are going to talk with and cover some amazing things with this batch also. That's all for this video. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Keep watching Naveen Automation Labs. Take care.